So, have you all noticed some sketchy things going on Facebook lately? Since the election of a certain orange man back in November, I've noticed a few changes on social media. Ever since the collective brain trust of the tech world went and bent the knee to kiss the ring of the Trumpster, it seems that social media, a once reliable safe space of sorts, has become, I don't know, it feels like you're walking through the sketchy part of town late at night all of a sudden. Not necessarily unsafe, but you kind of feel like you need to be on constant alert. And no, I'm not talking about the potential for seeing some Nazi shit or running into some, offhand MAGA debate, or just a general high level of bitchiness that seems to be at a constant 11. No. There's porn on Facebook. That's right. Brazen, unfiltered, unadulterated pornography on your little Facebook. Now, I'm no prude. I enjoy a solid pornographic flick from time to time. So I'm not up here pearl clutching about some scantily clad women or some questionable material that, I don't know, could be rationalized as whether it crosses a line or not. No, I'm talking about balls to the wall or in the mouth or in wherever they go, full on hardcore pornography. Seriously, all the angles. I've seen it all in the past few weeks. It's been wild. The only thing missing from these pornographic videos is the audio that would normally accompany it. And sometimes it's there faintly, but usually these videos are not like, oh, we're showing you a porn video. No, they're much more devious than that. It's advertising. Usually for like male dick pills. There's another one talking about how to become a stud in bed. But ultimately it all comes down to some sort of pill that they're trying to sell you. And like I said, it's usually about the dick. It's almost always about the dick. Length, girth, how long you can go for, all wrapped up in a nice, glossy, little, quaint, presentable, pornographic advertisement package with either an AI voiceover or a nearly naked woman enticing you to buy this product. Now look, I have a few caveats here before we even get into the meat of this meal here. But first things first, let me just take a moment out here to please remind you to like and subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel and please like the video. It pushes us into the algorithm and it gets us going forward motion. I'm on the forward motion thing. It's on its way. We're picking up subscribers here and there, but I really want to set a goal. I just want to set a goal to get to, I don't know, let's say 10,000. I want to get to 10,000 subscribers by this time next year. So like a full year. Halloween 2025. I'm not asking for much. It's 10,000 people. So share this with your friends, will you? All right, back to the album. Number one, I personally give less than a fuck if companies want to use sex to sell things, especially if that thing is sex, right? Makes sense to sell sex with sex. So there you go. Number two, I also don't care if a company wants to allow adult content on their platform. That's their prerogative. And finally, number three, the last point here before we go into it is I'm very much aware of how this could potentially happen to me specifically. The fact is, I'm a man who is in his late 40s, newly married over the last few years, and as I said above, I do enjoy the occasional pornographic movie during my adult life. It has happened. And in the fact that our phones and most of these sites these days are actively listening to everything, it's not shocking at all that my algorithm picked up some sexual stuff in nature because that's just who I am, right? We'll leave it at that. I don't want to go into much more detail. With that being said though, it is shocking to be scrolling through Facebook, stop and look at a friend's kid and go, "Aw, look at that. They're so happy." And then maybe scroll down a little bit more and someone fancies themselves a photographer. So you see some flowers or a nice landscape or some butterflies or some birds or something. It is spring after all, right? Or maybe you go down a little bit more and someone's at a wrestling tournament or like a football pics. Someone's at a concert with their kid and you see a picture of dad and kid or mom and kid or aunt and kid or whatever. Maybe an anniversary celebration. You get my point, right? And then bam! Dick, vagina, consummate, like hardcore, like the most, like, look, I've seen some things, man. This shocked me. This even shocked me. Okay. So what is the problem with this? Well, I guess my problem is, does this happen elsewhere? I guess that's my first question. Are you seeing this on your Facebook? I'm curious to know. My wife has yet to come across it. I've asked my kids, and one of them said that they've seen straight up murder videos on Instagram. So we got straight up murder coming from one place. So I don't know what they're talking about, but we're seeing that, and I'm sure that's equally as shocking and twice as traumatizing. But that's not what I'm here to talk about, because I haven't experienced that personally. It's just an aside to this problem. But my biggest concern here is I don't know if I trust the algorithms, especially if they're being run by AI right now. AI is not exactly foolproof, and it's not exactly a standard. It doesn't really have its own standard at this point, right? Right now, it's just kind of like it's kind of an infant. It's a very smart infant, but it's an infant. So I can't really count on it to not show my 16-year-old who might be scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or wherever. Like, this hasn't happened on TikTok yet. It seems to be the only place where I haven't seen anything that I didn't want to see. Let's put it that way. But other than the occasional thirst trap, but again, it's not porno. It's just scantily clad women dancing. That's pretty much it. And I don't really engage in that, so I don't see that very often. But I know it's out there. But when is the day going to come that my 16-year-old says something or watches something or searches out something that's kind of innocuous but in a sexual nature? Like, it's not inherently sexual, but it's just like, I don't know, it could be something as innocent as looking up a bathing suit, and maybe like bikinis come up or something, and before you know it, it's like, now that's in my phone. They heard me talking about this, and now all of a sudden I'm getting dick pill ads with hardcore pornography on my Facebook or on my kids' Facebook, right? So obviously my age lends itself to a dick pill ad, right? So a 16-year-old really doesn't have to worry about that so much. But what else are they using this for to advertise, right? I don't know where this stops or where this, I don't know how far out this goes. Because like another thing that I have seen is that it's not necessarily like dick pills for like Viagra. You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily that. Some of that is part of it. Some of these ads are touting, an ability to make you a better lover and tricks that you can do to satisfy the women. And I have to be honest, like, when I was 16 years old, I was hella impressionable, right? So if I would have seen a video, let's say, using this gross trope that's out there these days, this stepmom, stepson, stepdaughter thing that is, first off, so fucking gross that I can't even possibly imagine people engaging in this fantasy. It's so weird to me. But if you're using that trope to market tips, tricks, and or some sort of supplement that's going to tell a 16, 17-year-old that you can be a monster in bed, and this is all they're hearing about in school. Because I remember when I was in school, when adolescence and hormones were running wild, I was totally, all they were talking about was, are you still a virgin? Are you still a virgin? Are you still a virgin? Oh, I bet you don't even fuck at all, or whatever. Like, we used to hear this shit all the time. So I'm sure it's worse now. I'm sure it's worse now because people have text messaging, and you can send dick pics and naked pics and nudes and the whole nine. Like, the possibilities are endless here. It's insane. So as I had said before, like, if I had seen this when I was 16 years old, a promise to make me a stud in bed, when there are football players and all these other people, they're all having sex and I'm not yet, and I'm worried and nervous. I remember those feelings. Like, I remember those. So this could be a very dangerous type of advertisement for a 16-year-old to see, because before you know it, they're going and searching out, oh, maybe I need to watch these videos to learn these techniques. And look, I'm not going to begrudge anybody their sexual fantasies or whatever. But, and I'm certainly not going to dive into the psychology of what porn can possibly do to the brains of young men and women. But let me just say, it's not good. It's just not good. Without going into the science of it, it's just not good. Look, I can have a discussion about how it might be even helpful to a young man, or especially young men who are fed so many different types of what masculinity is and how you should treat a woman and what a woman really likes and da 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 da. There's a lot out there that can definitely poison your brain in a hurry. But I can openly have a discussion about how if they're making sex videos that are presented in a realistic and safe way, uh, I believe that could be helpful. But I also believe you should be a full-ass adult anyway and have some actual experience with with a sexual partner before watching a glorified like Hollywood version, or even worse, a distorted version of performative sex, which is significantly different than real life. I mean, I know a lot of you out there are watching these movies on like wherever, RedTube, YouPorn, or wherever. What's the other one? Pornhub. But I assure you, through through all experiences and the fact that I know sex workers, like a lot of them who have either done it before, continue to do it, or are aspiring to do it, the movies are not like real life. You do that stuff in real life and someone's not going to be having a good time, and it's probably not going to be you if you're a man. A lot of these things are not very appealing to women, I would imagine. And I, like I said, I've spoken to people. I've had my own experiences, so I can back this up. Now, you may be having that type of sex, and that's good for you. Maybe I'm just not doing it right, or maybe my friends are wrong. I don't know. I'm not trying to judge, and I'm not trying to bring a judgment down on people who engage in like rape fantasies, or who want to be smacked in the face, or who want to be spit on, or whatever. Like, if those are things that you enjoy, have at it, right? But that is my problem with it. The fact that young people are so impressionable, and the fact that as much as I see no problem with pornography as a whole, because again, I see it as performances. It's performances. These people are doing wild stunts as far as I'm concerned. And yes, it's appealing. And yes, it is a turn on to watch. But I don't want to engage in it. And as an adult, I understand that these are things you probably shouldn't engage in unless your partner is 1,000,000,000% behind you, right? Unless you know that person cold, I wouldn't engage in a lot of these things. And that's what worries me. A 16-year-old who thinks this is the way to go and thinks this is right because that's what they see on the internet, on social media, they're not going to know any different. They're not going to have that voice in their ear going, dude, no, no, this isn't right. So the next question would be, how did this happen? How did Facebook go from being somewhat of a safe space, at least from adult content, at least from things that I think could scar people for life? Because I don't want to make light of this. The things I've seen in these commercials could potentially scar people. I've seen some wild things. Of course, you can't really say, I can't really show a lot of the ads here. I just can give you an idea of what they look like. But when did Facebook go the or forget that, X-rated route? These are X-rated videos. There's no sugarcoating this. These are X-rated videos. I can't help but point out that I noticed this around the time that Zuck the Cuck delivered his little message about free speech on Facebook and how community standards were going to change and how fact-checking was going to be ditched in lieu of community notes, which is, well, whatever. I'm not here to debate that or discuss that topic right now. Whether you think fact-checking can be done amongst the community is a whole different thing, because I don't even know if I can trust the institutions as it is. So with that move, Marky Mark sent up the bat signal to every predatory player in the game on the net to say, my users don't matter to me, only your views and your engagement does, and the advertising dollars. That's all that matters. Like all of the corporate entities, Facebook has now become a place where you're only a number to these cretins like Zuck and Elon and Bezos. None of them care about you at all, or your kids. So don't let them go about saying like, this is for the children, we want the truth out there. They don't give a shit about you or your children. Before you go jumping into my comments about the free speech nonsense, just stop. Just stop right there. Don't even bother. It's nonsense, because I have yet to have the experience on Facebook where this happens, where I have been flagged or had a comment taken down or had a post taken down because I dare criticize anybody in power here. But If you dare tread on over to X/Twitter, or whatever the fuck you want to call it right now, and you drag the great MAGA or Elon name, that shit'll be gone 30 seconds after you post it. These people only believe in spree feech. I just said spree feech. Oh my God. These people, Elon, Zuckerberg, Bezos, they only believe in free speech. MAGA too. They only believe in spree feech. These people only believe in free speech when it doesn't hurt their fifis. It's that simple. So they'll defend pornographic ads on their platforms as a company's right to free speech, right? Hey Mark, remember this very conversation from the movie The Social Network?
I say it's time to start making money from the Facebook, but Mark doesn't want to advertise. Who's right?
Neither of you yet. The Facebook is cool. That's what it's got going for it.
Yeah.
You don't want to ruin it with ads because ads aren't cool.
Exactly.
$1 million isn't cool. You know what's cool?
You?
$1 billion.
Now, I don't know if this conversation actually happened this way, Hollywood magic and all, but you should have taken Sean's or Justin's or whoever it was talking to you, you should have taken their advice. Because you may be a billionaire and you may think that's cool, but you and this new Facebook thing where porno is okay in advertisements so you can make an extra buck or two is far from cool. And that's going to do it for this edition of Quick Takes. What do you think? Leave it in the comments. Please make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Follow all my social media places, including my Patreon, which is Redbeard Videos, $3 a month, and you get extra stuff. Posting episodes of Old School, which are interviews from the past, from my radio career since 2008 until probably around 2020, 2021. Right now, my very first episode of Old School is an interview with Tommy Rogers from Between the Buried and Me, and that was from 2017. So go check that out. There'll be listen-throughs there, like full listen-throughs of albums. Like I listened to the new Dream Theater album on there full. It's a full video. And the next one to come up will be my full listen-through with Coheed and Cambria's newest album, which will be coming out, I think, later this week. So yeah, $3 a month. And that's what you get. Plus, we'll have some outtakes and other stuff going on there. So come check out my Patreon, Redbeard Videos. I'd really, really appreciate that. And as always, thank you so much for being here with me, as I so much enjoy being here with you. And until next time, we will definitely talk again very soon. Bye.